make a move and the bunny gets it.
I said, put the bunny back in the box. Why couldn't you put the bunny back in the box?
Roar. Roar.
Colonel Ironsides here. 200 years I stood in the gap, fighting those who would harm my country. It was my honor, my sacred duty, so help me God. 9 times they took my life. 9 times I stood back up and made them pay. The freedom fighter and I could handle anything, but someone betrayed me. I was ambushed, made mortal, rendered powerless, and retired. They passed an amendment that made me a civilian before I left the hospital. For 50 years I watched my country change. Lost its work while erasing me from history. The day I quit my job, I powered up and discovered they lied about that too. I'll remind them of freedom. I'll remind them of duty. I'll remind them of their oaths and who they serve. I'll remind them while I'm shoving it down their throats.
Psychically, I'm very well endowed.
I wanna know what you're thinking. There are some things you can't hide. I wanna know what you're feeling. Tell me what's on your mind.
Hey there, welcome to the Rabbit Hole Monday. Monday is Gen X Files Day. It is pop culture from the perspective of the people who were there when it was written. Gen X was there, ground zero. Now, let me see, got a comment already. Greetings, salutations, and stuff. Smash the like button. Hey, Wrangler. Thanks for coming by, man. You know, have I ever given you a wrench? I think I've given you a wrench. Let me look. Let me take care of this right quick. So, let's make sure my man's got a wrench in case he wants to do business. Talks amongst yourselves. Hold on 1 second. Bad thing is when you're on the talks amongst yourselves. Oh, sorry. Open up that app. All right. Let's see here. And well. Oh, hold on. There it is. And as a moderator. Enter moderator. All right. Wrangler, you are now a mod. So there you go. As long as you don't abuse it. I've given mod powers to people that have abused it before. It is what it is. Anyway, some people can't handle power. It is what it is. All right. So today we're going to talk about is Hollywood dying? Now in the past, people have declared Hollywood dying. But usually it has like kind of like the philosophically, it's dying. It's decaying. It's there's actual a lack of quality in the product, and all those things are true. But there's another element to it now, in that Hollywood. A lot of the people who feed into Hollywood were burned out by this fire, and how's that affecting Hollywood's ability to continue to put out product? Hold on a second. Like when Carton became a hall monitor. Precisely. Exactly. Yeah. That's exactly what happens sometimes. Anyway, respect my authority. Anyway, I know it was really bad. I'm not very good at the Carton. Anyway, so we're gonna go ahead and do a couple reviews. I got 3 products. This came today, the Project Neosis. I got the first volume, and I've got like 2 follow-ups to go through before I can give any kind of product assessment of that. But I also got 2 other comics. Now, this one's from Lucid Comics. This is Vigilant Fury. Now this is I saw this on a Bancroft one night, and I liked the premise. The story premise sounded really cool, and like the black and white art and things like that. It's very kind of distinctive, kind of like art. I believe the guy who wrote it also drew it. Let me make sure. Yeah, let me see. It's not there. Not at the front. All right. Well, anyway, sometimes it's kind of hard to. I think Anthony Gambino, Julius Freeman. Okay, I think Julius Freeman's the writer, and Gambino's the artist. Okay, there you go. Oh yeah, Freeman's the writer. Yeah, I was right. Okay, and it's in the chat. Hey, all right. Okay. Well, the premise is pretty simple. Lady named Angela Perez gets knocked out on the trip overseas, and wakes up in a cargo ship as being trafficked. And well, they picked on the wrong bitch. Her words, not mine. Anyway, so she turns out to be a lot more than they counted on, and it's kind of like Die Hard in a container ship with Chick instead of John McClane. And so it's a pretty simple premise. It works. A lot of people have used that premise, and a lot of times, the fact that she's a female, kind of like, I think that was the good part of it is there's she has a good decent characterization. You do root for her, the way she protects those kids, the way she's concerned with the kids, kind of like softens up her bloodthirstiness. She has that mother element, makes her more feminine, and makes her a good protagonist to root for. And the people that that she's dispatching are significantly nasty enough that you're rooting for her do so. And a lot of the dispatching is pretty gruesome. Now, the not so good. Okay. I did have a few problems. And the problems came with the fact that he did choose a female protagonist. And, unless you make her a girl boss, it's a little difficult when you choose a female protagonist to make it realistic that she is gonna go hand to hand with people and win, because she's physically smaller, she's physically weaker, she doesn't have the quick twitch fiber. So most of the time it's like there's a movie called You're Next, where they did this very effectively. You really believe that woman, that I haven't seen a protagonist that was almost like the serial killer before, and that movie did this premise very well. And you did not want to run afoul of that girl. I mean, you did not want to run afoul of her. And in a lot of ways, this lady's the same, except that they had her going hand to hand combat. Up to a certain point, there's a lot of cheating going on. There's a lot of ambushing, a lot of like surprise attacks and things like that, which were good. Was a good idea. But at a certain point, they started having her go hand to hand. And that's where my issues come in. And I have this issue anytime I see a female go hand to hand that doesn't have superpowers. And it's just that women cannot handle hand to hand with a man. And while she does take damage, there's no way she could have took that damage and kept going. Not the damage that she was absorbing. And so, there towards the end of third act, I thought probably could have used more of an edit. Could have used a story editor. And with the art, after a while, it was like they were drawing the same guy. There really wasn't a lot of distinction between the people she was fighting at a certain point. They all had like facial hair and they're bald and they had tattoos and earrings. And so they're kind of like blended together after a certain point. So all of this could have been probably fixed with a story editor or an outside pair of eyes back in the process when you were writing it. But at the same time, this is it's a decent read. I enjoyed it. And I don't really review things that I can't give at least a decent rating to. And my carrot rating system is, out of 6 carrots. And I'm going to give this one a... Okay, so 4 carrots out of 6. That's still very good. If that third act would have been tweaked just a little bit, and if they'd given more variety to the men that were like on the bad guy side, I think that this could have been all the way up to a 5 very easily. It's just it's pretty much right there on the edge of it. But it's a very good read. It's one I would recommend that you check out. It's just very distinctive in a lot of ways, and she's a decent protagonist. I like the way she protected the kids and was concerned with their welfare. And something happened at the end, which I thought was a very good character moment. And but I just I just had that one, those little quibbles. But for the most part, I enjoyed it. And if Lucid, I see something else for Lucid, I'll probably back it. Fair critique. Well, thank you, man. I appreciate it. I'm not out to be overly critical. Thank you, man. So that's Vigilant Fury. That's from Lucid Comics. He's got quite a few projects in the back listed. And so, and obviously the way he left it, let's see right here, got projects on this page here. Yeah. So there's some more projects right here from both Billy Freeman and Anthony Gambino. You know, if you want to check that out. All right. So thank you again for the support. Yeah, no problem, man. I love indie comics, man. You know, if you don't know, if nobody tells you how you're doing, then you won't know, right? So, once again, I would check with that. Lucid Comics on X would be a good way to contact him. That's how we got acquainted. So the Project Neosis, I will get that review as soon as I have time to. I've already gone through like a couple of the stories, and I can tell that one's going to be a bit of a, an effort on my part. That's a lot there. Speaking of having a lot there, okay, this is Immortal Rising. Okay, this is my friend Aaron C. From Immortal Rising Comics, and I did the review on the first book, and it was definitely worth going back to. And one of the right now, Jose Garcia is his artist. And with Jose Garcia, you get panels like that right there. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah, Wrangler, this is number 2. This is definitely number 2. I did a review of the earlier one. Now, this is with the earlier review, I talked about how this is a multi-layer narrative. He's got narratives that's local. He has narrative that's like planet-wide. And then he has narrative that's like the gods that are these people are representing, and their own mechanizations and things that they're doing with. Jose Garcia is really steps it up when it comes to Listo and Erickson. Yeah. Yeah. So this one has the ogre, one of those main characters, ogre. I got these cool chibis. This is the goddess. I was a little disappointed that she didn't disappear. She didn't really appear in this one. I was a little disappointed on that, but she was in the first one. This is the new character, Oni, and here's the ogre. There you go. So this is the goddess I was talking about, Empress Tili Mon. She didn't really see her as much as I anticipated seeing her, but you know. So Corey didn't get as much boobs as he usually prefers. This has advertisement for our good buddy on the back there, the Infotail. Yeah, Infotail Comics. So Chris, what's his name? Well, it's Affinitel, I guess is the way you pronounce it. Chris Fisk, I think. Chris Fisk. He's a very good. He does a lot of the graphic design for Aaron. So anyway, okay, the good. The good is the typical Immortal Rising, Jose Garcia. Detailed, attention to detail. There's a lot that you can dig through. There's a lot you can find, a lot you can pay attention to. The world building is, as always, very solid, extremely solid, and there's a lot that you can process. And in the first one, this was like a continuation of the first one. And so essentially you do have a lot of things going on. Aaron C. has a lot of, he doesn't put the cookies on the bottom shelf. You really have a lot going on, and you're really kind of like juggling a lot of things. On that cover, T. Lee looks like she's holding something that we really don't want her to have. Yeah. Well, she that cover's written or done by Corey Barton, so there's no telling. There's really no telling. He's a bit of a horn dog. I love Corey, but he is a little bit of a horn dog. I'm very shocked that he's married. I'll just say that much. He probably doesn't leave that lady alone very much. But anyway. So what you got here is you got a lot of complicated world building. You got a lot of plate spinning. You got a lot of you got a religious system. Not many independent comics have like their own religious system, and he does. I mean, he's like, he dots every I and crosses every T, and so that's definitely a positive to his book. This is somebody that really spends a lot of time on his world building. And he's got very complicated characters. They all have their own personalities. They all have their own kind of like reason to be in the story. Now, I would say that's the good, but for the bad, that there was an issue where he did introduce a new character, and that character kind of like took up a lot of the time. And there was a lot of like character things, a lot of character beats that he set up for in that first comic that kind of got abandoned. Okay, like the Ranger character. Let me make sure I get his name right. Drake Hardy. At the end of the first book, spoilers, but he lost like his dearest love, his partner, and he there's like a few moments of reflection, and this was supposed to carry on. This is supposed to happen right after that occurrence, and I didn't feel like he paused enough to kind of like, I know the guy's got to get a job done, and he's kind of like, but he didn't really process his grief. To me, it's like there were times where I thought that there could have been more of maybe a flashback or two, maybe more to flesh out that relationship as to what she mattered to him, and how that affects him. But that's probably a matter of personal preference. But it doesn't really detract from the story very much. Now, Jose Garcia, the speed in which he does it is supernatural. Anybody will tell you that. He's got a manga style, and he just churns it out with the background detail. Now, where I have the issue with Jose's work, and I had this on Tiger Blue, is that less is more sometimes. And with Jose, because he's so fast, and with him, it's more is more. And there are a lot of times where detail would just get completely muddied out because there's just too much of it in a very small space. One example is this panel right here. Now, is the panel good? Yeah, it's incredible. There's a ton of stuff going on in the background there. But can you see it? No. And the artist, I mean, the person they have coloring, it's not their fault. It's just there's way too much squeezed into that panel. Now, when Jose kind of like does less and just does like subtle detail, his work really is beautiful and it's really amazing. But when he gets too much going on, you know, like this right here. Okay. Look at that. But it just, I mean, the detail's incredible. The detail's just like intricate and incredible. But at the same time, because there's so much of it, I think the colorist didn't use enough gradient, didn't use enough like different colors. They use too many of the same colors too often at certain times, especially with these hyper complicated patterns on these, and its detail got lost. It's kind of like a Jack Kirby, and you know, he had this inker that just like slapped ink onto everything Jack Kirby did, and a lot of people have said that he just like ruined a lot of Jack's detail, and it's only discovered later when people were able to get a look at the actual paper, the pencils, and they're like, "Holy crap! There's all this whole entire other thing, this other apparatus that we missed because the inker just like slapped ink all over it." And I think in a way, I think some of this is Jose, but some of it is just I don't think the colorist just did enough. Like that right there. There's a ton of detail there, but it's all like shades of cream and yellow, and because of that, the detail doesn't like come out like I wish it would. That's not saying it's not beautiful. Not saying it's not incredible, but that's an issue for me. But I'm being kind of nitpicky in a lot of ways. But you know, the story is a solid continuation. I do think that he could have used a few more pages to maybe you know, flesh out what happened with that death in the first book. Maybe give a little bit more, like a couple characters who were kind of like developed a little bit in the first book, just completely, totally got ignored in this book. And, you know, I just felt like maybe there could have been a couple more pages of just to kind of like bring the first story into this book a little bit more. But it's really a lot of nitpicking. For the most part, I'm going to give it a... So 5 carats for that one. It's still a great series. Book 3 comes out. I'm bagging it. You know, I'm hoping Jose stays around to finish out the series. I know he's a busy guy. He's constantly in demand. So hopefully we'll get him to finish this out, because it would be a shame if he didn't. So, okay. So those are, you know, once again, Vigilant Fury was a 4 out of 6 carats. And the Immortal Rising book 2 was a 5 out of 6. Okay. Now get to the subject today. Let me play a short clip. Here it is.
Why is Hollywood, the once unofficial ambassador of American culture, now on the verge of dying? Now, that may sound a bit extreme, but when you look at the numbers, it certainly appears that there is a crisis brewing in Southern California. And while some may blame an unspecified virus that emerged from an unspecified location, I'd argue there's actually a much bigger reason why Hollywood is struggling. And struggling is even being generous. Consider this. Box office bombs have skyrocketed in recent years. Since 2020, at least 22 movies have collectively lost between $2.3 and $2.5 billion. And not only are box office bombs losing more money than ever before, but there's also a lot more of them. Of the top 100 movies of all time that lost the most money, almost half were made just in the previous 10 years. And that's after adjusting for inflation. By almost every metric, Hollywood is falling apart. Theater attendance is down by nearly 50% from 2018 to 2022. Theaters like Cinemark, AMC, and Regal are on the verge of collapse, with the latter's parent company declaring Chapter 11 bankruptcy in September 2022. Studios like Paramount and Universal are releasing fewer movies, and for those that do get released, the last 3 years have seen some of the worst box office performances in over 20 years. And it's not just movie goers, the stock market has also turned on Tinseltown. Entertainment giants like Warner Brothers and Netflix have lost hundreds of billions of dollars in just 1 year. Job cuts are starting to pile up. Disney alone is slashing 7,000 jobs to try and stem the company's growing losses. And even streaming is on the decline. Disney Plus lost over 2.4 million subscribers and more than $1 billion in a single quarter. These trends have translated into a full-blown crisis for Hollywood. So, why are things coming apart so quickly? Decades ago, people used to look up to movie stars like John Wayne as role models. Great storytelling created generations of fans for sagas like Star Wars. And Hollywood seemed genuinely proud of certain fundamental American values like truth, justice, and the American way. But now, Hollywood regularly trashes not just American culture, but Americans themselves. It attacks and ridicules its paying customers, all while destroying the heroes and stories that many of us grew up cherishing. The very concept of the movie star is also gone, replaced by a new generation of ideologically driven, virtue-signaling moralizers who think it's their job to tell people what to think, all while insulting them as much as they possibly can. Is it really any surprise that theater audiences have collapsed 50% at the same time that Hollywood alienates about 50% of society? Because for years, people have been trying to signal that Hollywood has lost touch. And long before COVID, they were voting with their time and stopped paying attention. But now, they're voting with their money as well. Because perhaps the biggest lesson Hollywood has forgotten is that in a free market, it's the people that tell you what they like, not the other way around.
Okay, that's a accurate summation of what's been going on. I thought that was interesting that out of the top 10 biggest box office bombs of all time, like half of them have been in the last few years. And I knew it was up there, but that's a pretty devastating statistic right there. Now, a second. Get this comment in here. Oh, hey, Creators Outlet. What's up, Will? Okay. Now, what brought this up to me? Why I decided to do this subject today was Snow White over the weekend only made $43 million domestic, and this is a live-action adaptation of the 1935 movie, which launched Walt Disney. It literally created the Disney company, that one animated movie. The Disney brothers just basically went all out and created this. Okay, one second. money always determines what the audience majority are looking to consume. Yeah, exactly. And money is how they tell you. But there's also other things. But the problem with Hollywood now is that they're ignoring. They're looking for their affirmation to come on the back end. They're looking for, like, did we hit it or didn't we hit it? At the box office results, and they're just blowing by all of the like warning signs before that. And the Snow White movie had a lot of warning signs, and the biggest problem was in the inception of it. Okay, and this is a problem that Hollywood still hadn't figured out. The race and gender swaps, and the stunt casting has to stop. It has to stop. You're not making your point. When you've got a character called Snow White, casting a girl with obnoxious, elitist girl with brown skin who is going to sit there and badmouth Walt Disney in front of mics all across America is just it's damage that you can't overcome. And the fact that it says in the actual source material, and it says in the original movie that you're supposed to be aping that her skin was white as snow. And you're sitting here like, well, that's bad. You're just racist that you didn't appreciate. No, it's in the source material. It's in the movie adaptation that you're supposedly doing a live action adaptation of. And the only reason that you would cast this girl in that role is because it was going to cause this to happen. You wanted this. You had to know this was coming. And she didn't help it by being the most obnoxious, elitist little, so-and-so that I think I've seen in recent memory. She did not help her case at all. And they were so terrified of her that they had closed opening to this movie with only like invited people, and the press was like handpicked because they knew if they put a mic in front of her face in an unguarded moment, she was going to run her mouth. That's how to control this girl. It's, of course, she's being promoted up. I mean, she's failing up. She's going to be on Broadway next year. So hey, way to hey, you had a box office bomb. Let's show you our appreciation by giving you a starred role in a Broadway play. She's not going to learn a thing, but it's a good example. I mean, HBO's making a mistake right now by race swapping Severus Snape for their Harry Potter, series that they're coming out with. And yes, I know JK probably signed off on it. She, despite her, trans ideology, she is still firmly progressive on the left. And I know she signed off on this, but the simple fact of the matter is you don't have the luxury of miscasting a character as important as Severus Snape. You don't have the luxury. This is no longer something that you're capable, that you can do. This is no longer something that you have the option to do. And until you figure that out, and Disney is doubling down. Their stockholders, which are mostly controlled by the ESG giants, have voted overwhelmingly to continue DEI policy. And what has DEI done to Disney? It has destroyed their parks. It's destroyed their movies. It's damaged Pixar, ruined Star Wars, and it's put Marvel Comics or Marvel Studios in the crapper. That's what DEI policy has done to Disney, and now they're going to double down. And oh, by the way, the one ace in the hole they had was the Disney parks, and Universal is about to eat their lunch. Look up Epic Universe, what they're about to launch over at Universal in May. Disney's not long for this world, not the parks at least. Anyway, rumors say that she also talks to Marvel Studios play part of Rogue. Let's hope those rumors are false. Who knows? Honestly, who knows? But the thing about it is, though, is this stunt casting has to stop. Has to stop. It's okay if you have an original character to cast whoever you want in that role. But if you've got a source material, you're going to have to start going with the source material. You're going to have to. It's no longer cute. You're no longer getting the brownie points that you thought you were. And the people that are okay in this and that are patting you on the back, they're not buying tickets. They're not the ones buying the tickets. And it's like he said in that video, 50% fall off happened when Hollywood started bad-mouthing 50% of America. It's a very clear delineation there. And it's very clear cause and effect going on here. When you started stunt casting, when you started race and gender swapping everybody, and then calling people bigots that complained, you lost the big chunk of your audience. And now you're doubling down. Now, there's also another element that just happened. And I did a poll right here. I did a poll on X. It was, is Hollywood dying? Okay. This is the options. No, it'll be fine. Critical drinker. Sorry. It's dead, Jim. And Lizzo is warming up. In other words, the fat lady's about to sing. Okay. So out of 27 votes, 30% said, nah, it would be fine. 59% said it's dead, Jim. And then 11% said Lizzo's warming up. Okay. So for the most part, people are saying it's Hollywood's dead. At least it's getting there. A friend of mine, Blue Shack Comics, was on here last week. He said that it's dead, but also undead. And I asked him in what way. And his answer was, again, it's quite complicated, much like everything I talk about. Hollywood, they will be fine, not because they sell tickets. There will be a few studio land replacements that won't be walking corpses animated by some wizard. So he thinks that their funding is going to keep them afloat. But with USAID going under, there's a lot of things that are suspiciously running out of money right now. And there's a lot of layoffs that are happening that, in years past, when they did these projects, we're all going like, how are they getting funded? How are they keeping their doors open by running off half their fan base or more? How in the world is this a business model? Well, it's because the USAID and the SG program was keeping all these places afloat. Well, that stuff's run out. So they're going to have to go back to the old model, pleasing the customer. All right. Now, Aldous on the Farm, our local contrarian, who has never seen a point of view that he didn't want to take the opposite side of. He says it's going to be fine. In 1934, the Hays Code goes into effect. Hollywood is dying. 1960s, the studio system is broken. Hollywood is dying. 1990s, indie film is booming. Hollywood is dying. And it's 2020s and streaming's taken over. Hollywood is dying. The point he's making is, we've heard this before. And somebody responded, "That's a whole lot of death for something still alive." And he says there can be only one. Does a Highlander reference. Of course he does. And then J.K. Trolling says, I got that reference. You did Captain America. But anyway, now, far be it me to disagree with Aldous on the farm. But in all those things that he was talking about, all those like disasters where people were declaring the death of Hollywood, Hollywood wasn't dealing with the aftermath of something like this.
That is the high notes. It's a middle school choir bringing some much needed music to us this morning. They sound so incredible.
Angelic.
Angelic is right. Well, music, TV, and movies, well, the entire entertainment industry has been impacted by the fires, and it's just the latest blow in a string of very tough years for the business. Our Chris Conley is here with more on that. Good morning,
That's absolutely
Chris.
right. Good morning to you both. Yeah, that's true. The fires that destroyed Altadena took dead aim at a vital part of the Hollywood community, just when it's at its most vulnerable. Not the faces you see on screen, but the names you see after the movie. Hardworking crew members. And this latest blow to their livelihood is the most painful one yet.
It looked to me like everything is gone.
For 3 decades, a veteran prop master on features, TV shows, and commercials, and an armorer, Dutch Merrick and his wife, Sigma, moved to Altadena some 4 years ago.
We're kind of out of the way of everything, and it just has a certain magic to it. And it's filled with our film people, too, and that spoke to us. And it's no more.
A lot of love. A lot of love for the people that made it through this.
The couple forced to flee as the Eaton fire claimed their beloved neighborhood and their dream home.
I looked out of my bathroom window and I could see flames across the street. And it just didn't feel like I was coming back. I just started to say goodbye to the house.
The devastation jeopardizing their already precarious livelihood.
We, in the film business, have just had the wind knocked out of us again and again and again. It's like we're already on our back foot, and it just feels like another blow.
Dutch's vital work is just one of the many behind-the-scenes middle-class jobs that keep Hollywood alive.
We're talking about people who are camera operators, these are gaffers, these are electricians, hair and makeup artists, caterers.
The fire is disrupting an industry that has seen years of relentless upheaval, first beginning with COVID, then back-to-back strikes.
Stay alive till 25. That's a phrase I heard. What did that mean?
I think people came up with that meme or that trope, stay alive till 25, because it's all going to come back, because it has to, right? And it hasn't. And now this fire, so many film people are affected. It was just like the last blow.
The crew union IATSE hosting an event for a donation and resource center on behalf of fire victims in Burbank with a coalition of labor unions.
It's really a beautiful industry to be a part of, but we do have to be resilient and we have to fight our way through a better time.
Are you still hopeful that you and people like you can continue to work in Los Angeles?
It's a fresh start. We have a clean slate, so I'm trying to find hope in that. I don't want to survive till 25, I want to thrive in 25.
Meanwhile, while award shows continue to find the appropriate tone, the cancellation of premieres and events can take its own toll. The Merricks remain undaunted. We care about Altadena's history, Dutch says, and we care just as much about Altadena's future. And Sigma saying, I know goodness is coming. Guys?
Yes.
Okay. Now, Aldous, the events that he mentioned, the reason why Hollywood's able to stay afloat is because of these people behind the scenes, the people that never get in front of the camera that make Hollywood go. Okay, and they all lived in these areas, and they're not like these Hollywood stars. They don't have multiple houses, and LA is already preventing people from even cleaning their lots. LA is already swooping in and saying we'll clean the lots up, and then they're offering these people money to sell out because they wanted to, the rumor is, and I think it's a lot of truth to it, they burned out this area deliberately so they could have their smart system in place, their like climate change smart city in place by the time the Olympics come in. And what they need is they need to get rid of all these people to do that. And they're already like preventing people from going back into their homes. They're already preventing people from fixing their places with the permits and all this other stuff. The mayor of LA was like, well, I'm making it easy for you. There's all 12 people that you have to get permits from to fix to get back in your home or here in under one roof for your convenience. 12 permit people you've got to jump through to get just to be able to get back into your house. And they are deliberately slow walking everything to get these people to sell out and leave. And those are the people who are the lifeblood of Hollywood. They're the true lifeblood of Hollywood, not these arrogant, obsequious, actors, bird brain actors who want to spew left-wing talking points at us. No, they're not the ones that make Hollywood go. These people are, and they've been burned out of their homes, and they're not being allowed to build back. And that and the strikes that they did right on the heels of trying to reopen after COVID did not help. Did not help at all. And a lot of those over the barrel head back room shady dealings that the Writers Guild and the Actors Guild did to get the things start flowing again did not benefit these people. It benefited the people at the top of these at the top of these unions, and that's pretty much the only people it did benefit was these people on top of these unions, and that most of them have like multiple mansions. They don't have to worry about it, and that's why. I mean, Hollywood is in a lot of trouble, and this is a dire trouble that they haven't faced before. Before they had these people, as long as they had these people keeping the store, and as long as they had these people behind the scenes manning the cameras, keeping the props, making sure the guns don't go boom in the wrong place. Alec Baldwin. But as long as these people were there, Hollywood had a buoyancy because these people are the salt of the earth. These are the people that keep Hollywood, the lifeblood of Hollywood. And these are the people they burned out. These are the people that they burned out who don't have the money to relocate and are running into walls all over the place. Mayor Gay does not want those people back in there, because they are planning to shove that whole entire area full of low-income housing. The plans have already been leaked. They're planning to shove that whole entire area full of low-income housing, and basically they want to get rid of all the rich people, for their little socialist paradise. This is what was planned all along. And but that's going to kill the lifeblood of Hollywood. And also Las Vegas Mark Wahlberg and is opening a studio, Sony Pictures, in conjunction with Sony Pictures. And there's another one that's opening up in conjunction with UNLV. And UNLV's, has a very important movie program, movie and television program. And they're basically building a studio. They're going to feed these students into the studio, and they're going to start putting out projects. That's if they get the state, the money from the state, which it looks like they're going to do. And also, this happened. Let me play you this.
Cat Williams just became the latest celebrity to invest in a studio lot. But it's in a very surprising place. Hi, I'm Alex from Pop Culture Brain, and this is Stage Runner, your source for what's shooting and where. Tyler Perry, Robert De Niro, 50 Cent, James Corden, these are just some of the moguls who have put their money into sound stages worldwide. And now comedian Cat Williams is joining the club as he just purchased a former military base in Atlanta, with the intention of turning it into a state-of-the-art production hub. Williams was inspired by Tyler Perry's massive complex in Atlanta, as he told GQ, "It's just not fair to put all that pressure on Tyler Perry. He can only do so much." Williams has not revealed which Alabama military base he bought, nor how much he paid for it, but reports indicate that it's Fort McClellan in Anniston, Alabama, which was recently listed for $1.5 million. The base has 30 buildings with 3 million square feet of indoor space, including 10 barracks with 20 rooms each, 2 massive gyms, as well as 90 acres of flat usable land. Essentially, this could be a huge facility that could attract some really big projects. Williams is getting into the soundstage game at the right time, as demand for filming locations continues to grow globally. Studios like this one can fill critical gaps, particularly in regions that offer affordability and space for large-scale projects. With its rich history and vast potential, Williams' property could also position Alabama as a new production hub, which would create jobs and boost the local economy.
Okay, he did misspeak. Uh, this is supposed to happen in Alabama. Hold on a second. Sorry, I've got it. But yeah, he's doing that in Alabama. There's already movie studios in Georgia. Georgia's actually a pretty massive hub, and North Carolina did have a pretty thriving movie business at one time until they started cutting off funding to it for some reason. I still can't determine why. But North Carolina still has like some of the best shooting areas in the world. We pretty much have all the ecosystems of the world available to be shot in North Carolina, except for snow and ice. But we got mountains. We've got sand hills, which can double as deserts. We have coastal areas which are extremely undeveloped because of the hurricanes that come through occasionally. That's why they can't build up the coast of North Carolina. But we got these long sandy white beaches that you can use for any purpose. Multiple things have been shot there. I have a local lake that's in multiple movies. There's something called Goat Island. It's in multiple movies. One of them's Hunt for Red October. The other's Last of the Mohicans. And so North Carolina could very easily, start up a studio and take a big market share. And so what you're seeing is Hollywood lost its way, lost its customer base, lost the customers' respect and belief, and their infrastructure has gotten burned out by this land grab that the corrupt elite in LA has done, and basically put them all out on the street, and won't let them get back in their homes, and is planning on like paving over the whole entire community with low income smart houses. In time for the Olympics, and so that whole entire infrastructure that kept Hollywood moving, and the gears turning at Hollywood is currently unemployed and out of a house. They're homeless, and the studios like the ones in Las Vegas. Las Vegas is not that far away from LA, and that if that starts up, that's going to take a lot of people to keep running. And the UNLV thing, if that starts up, that's going to keep a lot of people. And what Cat Williams is doing down in Alabama, he's bought a whole entire, base, Fort McClellan. I mean, he's got plenty of space, got plenty of buildings, he's got plenty of shooting places. Alabama's very picturesque. So he'll have a lot of flexibility down there. And evidently he's got the capital to get it off the ground. And so is Hollywood dying? Yes, Hollywood is dying. The only thing that can save it is if somebody gets into LA, and it stops his plan and puts these people back in their houses and keeps that infrastructure there. But LA is so deep. I mean, LA is so corrupt at this point. I mean, the guy who, lost to Karen Bass in the last election, he's just like, it's not worth it to recall her. It's just not worth it. And I think he sees the writing on the wall. LA's lost. The LA movie business is just lost. I mean, that city is just a corrupt cesspool, and they have lost their way. They've lost their way with most of America, with all these race and gender swaps and ideology, Marxist ideology shoved into every nook and cranny. They've lost their cachet. They've lost their panache. They've lost the goodwill of the people. And so the only way to keep it moving forward is decentralize it, bring back the people that they kicked out because of DEI agenda, and who actually had talent, who actually, no matter what their race or color or creed is, bring them back if they have talent and get started over again. But that's not going to happen in LA. It can't happen in LA. So that sign's going to be a relic of a past age. Anyway, let me get these comments in. Oh, Wookie. Oh, okay. Yeah. I thought it was somebody important. Hollywood's fading away. Yeah, pretty much. And California's lost. Yeah. So, so where this is going is a decentralized movie business, a more nuanced movie business, movies being made in the communities of flyover country communities by people that aren't stuck in the blue bubble and that still remember the movies the way they used to be. I was just reflecting the other day that Con Air and The Rock, both Nicolas Cage movies, came out in the same month. I remember this happening. You had The Rock and you had Con Air, and they were, I mean, they're both popcorn flicks, but they're both fun and so rewatchable. I mean, I do a little bit of Con Air and my opening crawl, but they both came out the same month from the same actor. I mean, that's how much Hollywood's putting out at one point of quality popcorn fare. You had the different strata. You know, you had the big budget blockbusters, but you also had the indie middle tier. You also had the the romantic comedies, and the horror movies, which were cheap to make but have a pretty high profit margin. You also had the not the blockbuster, but like the next tier down, you know, and now everything is like go big or go home or put it on streaming, and there's no nuance. That the whole entire middle strata that used to keep the money flowing in Hollywood, the little indie hits and the little smaller movies that made a decent profit instead of a massive profit. And the only way the movie business is going to come back is to start looking for these middle tier projects. Start producing people who've never had a chance to. And AI is coming. And AI is going to make people, it's going to give people with with the laptop in their basement, ability to make a blockbuster looking movie. And I was looking at through some AI stuff today, thinking about, showing a clip of an AI movie just to kind of demonstrate this point. But I was just looking through them today, and I was just like, I couldn't find anything that I thought would kind of prove the point. But it's coming. It's coming fast. Prepare for it. It's coming. And Hollywood is not prepared for it. They are starting to beg. They are begging Trump, who they spent the last 10 years denigrating and calling evil and calling Nazi and all this other stuff. They're begging him to enforce copyright against the AI companies. I don't think he's going to be receptive after all the things they've been doing to him. He took it personally when all of them, went with Kamala instead of him. He's not going to forget that. And so I think they backed the wrong horse. But anyway, even television shows have been tanking or lacking. Yeah. Yep. Even television shows have not been good. But anyway, so I hope this was informative. Once again, the Vigilant Fury is 4 out of 6 to me. Lucid Comics. He's available on X if you want to, get in touch with him. And this is Immortal Rising. Book 2 is a 5 out of 6 carats for me. It's a little bit too much of a good thing. A little too dense in some places. Jose, just throws a lot of detail at stuff. And I don't think that the colors, or at least the people who printed it, got enough of that detail, enough gradations to really show that detail. So that's not really his fault. But I think maybe, being less ambitious might help with that. And I'm looking forward to book 3. I'm definitely going to get book 3. It was very enjoyable. But anyway, that's been Cooper from Telepathic Bunny Comics. Thanks for hanging out with me on a Monday night. RIP to Hollywood. If you hadn't shown nothing but disdain in the last little while, I might feel sorrier for your demise. But as it is, vaya con Dios. Anyway, that's been Cooper for Telepathic Bunny Comics. Thank you all for showing up tonight. And make sure you like and subscribe if you like the content. And we will see you next time. Follow the White Rabbit. Bye, everybody.